Hey everybody, Joe Simpson here. You might notice I sound a little strange. I've been really sick this week. I got the flu bug. I got it on Monday, Tuesday, bedridden, Wednesday, kind of half worked, Thursday, not much good either. Today I'm kind of rough. I'm probably gonna have to hit pause a lot to do some hacking and coughing, but I'm here. So I got a new lure in the, not a new lure, but I got a lure in the mail, and it was for the purpose of comparison. It's going to be another like Chinese knockoff lure versus the real American lure, no, I don't even think it's American. I think it's Japanese. I think this one's actually going to be Japanese lure. Who makes Megabass? Is Megabass Japanese? I think it is. I ordered some hooks a while back. You remember that site W Lure? And they sell those really good treble hooks that are really super sharp at large quantities and cheap prices. So I went ahead and was searching around on some different baits. Now, if you guys recall, there was actually 5 or 6 videos back. I think I did a video on square bills that I ordered off of Amazon, and it was like a pack of 12, and I gave away a rainbow colored one. Well, those had really sharp hooks. Ends up that is a lure package that comes actually from W Lure, and they come with the hooks that I bought as well. So I thought, well, they make good hooks, and those lures seem to be decent. Let's see what other lures they have. And I was looking through there, and I was like, oh my gosh, this lure looks exactly like the Megabass 110, you know? And so I said, I'm going to give it a shot and see how it compares. So I just want to walk through it with you and show you the differences and similarities of the lure. And then I wanted to talk about the price and comparison. Now, I've not fished either one. I've actually fished the Megabass 110. It's bad to the bone. So I definitely have faith and belief that lure's rocking. I caught one bass on that. I've not used this other lure, and I've had some pretty bad experiences buying other jerk baits from kind of like low grade or no name brands. And I've seen the difference in a good lure and a bad lure. So I definitely get it. And I'm not promoting the Chinese lure. I'm not saying, hey, buy from China. It's a great deal. I'm just saying it's interesting, to see how close these lures are and, the price differences on them. And will it really matter? I could test them out and check it out. So let's take a look. All right. So first, let me just show you my Megabass 110. Now, I bought this color specifically because it was silver, and this was the only color that I could get matched between the two manufacturers. Kind of. They're not exactly the same. This is the W lure, and that's pretty amazing right there. They look very, very similar. So let me cut away to some super high resolution photos that I took and have you kind of take a close-up look, and I'll talk through some of the similarities and differences of these two lures. The detail on the Vision 110 is second to none. This is just the best. You'll notice like a nice little purple hue painted into the tail. You've got some yellow and some white on the underbelly. They've got the special hooks with the out barbs. The barbs are on the outside of the hooks, not the inside. And if you look at the W lure, it's got a much crummier paint job. The pattern is similar, but the hooks, they're very, very good, but they're not quite as light and dainty as the ones on the 110, which could be bad for penetration and could be good if they're stronger and hold up better. Now, the Vision 110 has some really good high quality split rings on there. Their components are top notch. You can see the gill plates have a nice texture and pattern to them. And then the back of the Vision 110 actually has some scales drawn in there. And the Vision 110 is a little more translucent and transparent, which is going to be a positive thing. Now that we've taken a look at these lures and we see how similar they look physically, let's see what they look like just floating in a container. All I have is this transparent container to show you tonight. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to fish tomorrow. I'm still pretty sick, but I'll see if I can get out and do anything with these. But I do want to show you how they sit in the water. If you remember, the 110 has the weight transfer system. And basically that is, when this thing is in the water leaning forward, the ball bearings are forward. Now, when you go to cast, you can hear the balls drop down into the tail of this bait, and it makes casting a lot easier. Well, the other lure has the same type of weight transfer system. Now, it sounds a little different. It doesn't sound as solid, but it is similar. So let me just show what this looks like. I'm going to push this down in the water, and this Vision 110 really does a nose down type of stance, and it floats up pretty quickly too. I'll push it down again. This is cold tap water, so it's not ice cold water. but it does kind of sit right up, at about 60 degrees, not even 45, which I think is a great thing. I mean, it sits kind of like a fish would look in the water, and then when you twitch it, it falls out straight and level, and then it goes right back into pointer mode, and it looks super, super natural. So that's kind of cool. So you can kind of see how this, if this were to hit the water, it just kind of finds its 60 degree and kind of sits there. Now when you jerk it, it flattens out and it really washes back and forth really strong. So it's a really, really good action. So that's this one. And let's take a quick look at the other W lure. Now the W lure bait at first sank very, very slowly, and it was more flat stanced. So what I did was I smalled up the hook on the rear. I went from a 6 to an 8 and left the other two hooks the same. So basically it gave the tail a little more lightness, and it decreased the weight of the lure quite a bit, and so it enabled it to kind of have the similar float. So if this one were to be casted into the water, you can see this one sits a little bit flatter, a lot flatter, you know what I mean? Let me just kind of position it so you can see it. Let me fix that camera angle. It's not the best angle in the world, but you can kind of get an idea. If you were to cast this lure, it kind of sits and rises. Let me do that better again. I suck. But you can kind of see the slow rise this thing has, which I kind of like and prefer. And I know you can slow down the 110. You can put some weights or change hooks and stuff like that. But you can kind of see how that lure sits at more of about a 40 degree. It's not really as steep. I don't know what the action of this one is going to be like, but this does have that same, weight towards the front. Then as you get ready to cast, you can hear the BBs fall into the rear. So it's very similar. And when you cast that lure, it kind of sits a little bit flatter, has a slow rise to it. So I think it's going to be fine. I'm going to give it a shot and see how it works. Now, truth's in the performance of how it actually fishes and does it catch fish. Now, I threw back in the Vision 110, and you can see that just stands straight up on its nose, which I actually think is a good thing. The way this thing works in the water, when you start jerking it, it really does come to life and looks pretty crazy. But I'm interested to see how close they look performance-wise in the water. Give me your thoughts on this. I mean, I know it's a copy, but I'm interested to see what your opinion is. I know there's probably going to be some kickback from a few people about the fact that I'm using, a lure that's completely a knockoff of the Vision 110. But, what's interesting is how close they got everything, how almost exactly the same it looks, other than the fine details, the fit and finish, and I'm not sure about the performance. But as far as all the other components, the way that it initially looks, the way that it floats in the water, it's similar. It's very, very similar. So it's intriguing. So here's the drop. Here's the real deal. Vision 110, $24.99. W lure, $1.98. That's a big deal. I could buy 15 of those lures. You know what I mean? Or not quite, but still. I could buy a lot of those lures if they were anywhere near as good as a Vision 110. And here's the other thought. And a lot of people are like, why do you buy these? It's $1.98. So here goes. I'm fishing. There's a lot of sticks and brush and stuff. I got 12-pound fluoro. It's not the strongest line in the world. I'm casting the lure. I look in my box. There's 2 silver jerk baits that I'm thinking might work. One's $25, one's $2, and there's a lot of sticks and brush and potential hazards for me to get my lure stuck. I'm not in a tournament. I'm not a pro fisherman. I'm throwing the $2 lure. If I lose that lure, I order 3 more, and I just go back to business when I'm in good spots with the, Vision 110. So, I'm not trying to preach to anybody about this, but the way I look at it is I like having the good lure because I know it's the best. And then I like having a couple backup copies of the cheap ones, just in case. I did the same thing with the whopper plopper. I have a couple of those Chinese whopper ploppers. So when I have some really bad areas and I don't want to lose my good lures, I'll throw out these cheap ones. They work, So it's worth a look. Take a look at it. Don't beat me up too bad. I'm not a anti-American, pro-China guy. I just I'm in for a good deal. I like to fish, and I spend a lot of money on this stuff, and I try to mitigate my costs as much as possible. So just try to take it for what it is. I just wanted to share this with you. It might be something you want to look at. So check it out. It's worth taking a look at. Sorry I'm a little downtrodden today. I'm still getting over my sickness, but just wanted to get on and show you guys something that came in today. I thought it was interesting, and hope you guys get something useful out of this video. And I hope you get a chance to fish this weekend. I might, and if I do and catch anything, I'll share it with you. Thanks.